Does anybody here know the feminist history of beer? Has anybody heard that story before? Okay, awkward silence means the rest of you that know it are going to be subjected to it now. So, okay, here's how this goes. It's short, which is my specialty as a trans man. So here's how this goes. So it's the 1300s, right? And everybody in Europe is like dressing rather boringly, and they're drinking a lot of beer. But it's not beer the way that we would think of beer now. For one thing, it's like chunkier. I know. It's chewier. It's where you get most of your like iron and vitamin B12 and all of those important supplements. And the reason that everybody drinks beer is because they know that drinking water makes them sick and drinking beer doesn't, right? We don't have the germ theory of disease, and so we're not really thinking about that process, right? So everybody drinks beer, kings all the way down to peasants. Now, this means women are the chemists that brew beer because they are often making bread in the household. They're responsible for that kind of nutrition. And so women become the chemists that are the most important people in the world to make beer, an essential staple that because it's an essential staple and the alcohol content's not that high, the church can't tax it. It's interesting, right? Here we go. So, all right. So what else happens in the 1300s in Europe? Like, there's some good music, there's some nice hovels, and then the Black Death, right? Okay? Right? So this is a problem. Bubonic plague, 2/3 of Europe dead. Huge problem for the family unit because most families were pretty tight-knit, and especially in small villages. And now you're in a position where like no families really survive intact. You've got parents raising single kids, and you've got people on their own. You've got children on their own. But everybody still needs to drink beer, right? Because it's an essential staple. It's really important, especially for small communities. And so the women that are left begin making beer, not just for their families, but for like 100 to 150 people in a small village. Because again, they are the chemists that know how to brew beer. They're the only ones left with that knowledge. So picture this. You're a single woman, you're brewing beer for about 150 people. You're using like a fairly large cauldron, right? Because it's like, like 45 liters of beer, give or take. And there's lots of barley around, right? Because you're making beer, and so that comes with mice, and if you're not in Alberta, rats. And so to control that problem, you have cats around fairly often, right? Because they keep the rodents down. It's actually fairly productive. And then, because women tend to be shorter on average, when you take your beer to market, you wear a really tall hat so that you can be seen walking through the market. Is the image of this emerging for anybody? Witches. The trade, as it was called at the time in the 1300s in medieval Europe, actually all the way from the 1300s to the 1600s, these women were called alewives. And you can actually Google this and find pictures of them depicted in European cathedrals all the way throughout Europe. So they were the most single commonly depicted trade, gilded trade in Europe. And all the gilded trades that contributed to making cathedrals were depicted in those cathedrals sort of as a thank you, where they're like, oh, there's the plumber and the carpenter and the stonemason. Oh, and the alewife, but alewives, because they were women making magic that the church couldn't tax. Women were always depicted as alewives. I shit you not. You can find pictures of this on the internet. Holding mugs of beer, riding on the shoulders of demons into hell. Because this is the first time that women became economically independent, and the church didn't like that. And so the witch trials were about a variety of things, but one of them was about removing women from the economy they owned. So when you have a swig of beer next time, whether you like it or not, remember, a woman made that beer, and that's the reason it exists today. So there you go, feminist history of beer.